In some of my other videos, I talk about ideas, where do good ideas come from, how to produce more good ideas for your stories, what's the difference between good ideas and bad ideas, or good ideas and great ideas. This video is about capturing those ideas and really more explaining the process of putting together a bunch of fragmented or incomplete ideas. And I think this is very important for new writers, because when they look at other people's works, if they read a book from start to finish, let's say like Harry Potter, it seems like J.K. Rowling just sat at her computer one day and wrote this entire world. She had everything kind of planned out. But I'm here to tell you that it is not that way. So often what I do is I have a fragment of an idea, something that's kind of piques my interest, it's interesting, and I write it down. It's a fragment, it's part of an idea, it's not even the full thought. I might have a name or just a series of events that I think might work well in a story. And then it might be 3 weeks later, a month later, I develop the second part of that thing and I stitch it together and it looks like a complete thought. Sometimes, in my book, in the secret manuscript, this came up a few times where I wrote one thing at the beginning of the book, and then 40 chapters later, I make a reference to that thing that I wrote. This, sometimes these things happen by accident. I didn't plan that. It just, kind of worked out well in that particular instance for me. But, if you're reading the book, it looks like I had the idea and I kind of weaved it in this narrative. And I think the reason why I'm making this video, and this is important to kind of talk about my process, to kind of demystify it. And, I think sometimes writing can be very daunting to new people. They think, oh, I could never come up with, the Matrix, that's way too complicated. But, understand that the Matrix or any of these stories are a compilation. They're weaved together by a number of different ideas, and it's almost like a samurai sword. Every day you just pound out the steel and you make it flatter, and you fold it and you pound it and you constantly work at it. Eventually you're going to have a finished product that looks like this kind of cohesive thought, that it looks like that you just came up with this idea and you're this brilliant writer who's got all this, brimming with creativity, which may be the case, but often ideas are kind of coming in and out of your life. Your job as a writer is to pay attention to these ideas when they come in, recognize, oh, this is an idea, and stop what you're doing and capture it. Write it down, or write a note to yourself, speak into this voice recorder or whatever, and then store it somewhere. It's really about organization, I find, with putting together a novel. It's really about organizing my ideas. So I have files on my computer. If I'm writing one story, let's call it The Art of the Hustle, I'll have one Word document that's titled The Art of the Hustle, and that's kind of where my story goes. I'll have one with my outline, my full outline, and then I'll have my acts broken up into separate Word documents. So Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 will have their own structure. I have an ideas dump page where I just kind of put, throughout the day, maybe I'm in the shower or walking the dog, I get an idea and I just need somewhere to dump it. So I just put it in this one Word document, and eventually I go through and I start organizing those ideas into categories. So is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Is it good but not really fitting into the story? Maybe if you don't know, The Art of the Hustle is a story about this kid who rises to the top of the world of business, essentially a rags to riches story. I might have the idea that this guy, let's say, swims with dolphins or something like that, let's just say, which may have came to me in a dream, or may have came to me when I'm washing dishes or whatever. I think, oh, that's a cool idea. Maybe I'll have him swim with dolphins. Let's just assume that that's not a bad idea. So it's in the good idea column, but it doesn't fit in my story. I'm not just going to shove in a swimming with dolphins scene in a book about business. I will actually put it in another category, which is good ideas, but not right for this. And then I might use those for another story, so I might visit that, find some piece that fits in another puzzle and not that particular one. So that's something you can do as well. So to me, ideas are like currency. They come into our lives as nothing. Everybody has ideas. But everything around us, if you look at technology or, movies or books or music, all started with an idea. If you treat ideas with respect and, treat them with care and capture them, you have no idea how that can change your life. You don't know, the next idea that comes into your head could literally change your life. It could not only change your life, but it could have an impact on millions or billions of people. When a new idea comes in, I capture it immediately. And so I write it down, or I find some way to record it, stop everything I'm doing. If I'm talking to someone, I say, whoa, stop talking. I need to write something down before I forget. A lot of times ideas come to me, in the moments right before sleep. And so when I'm laying in bed and an idea, my brain is kind of winding down, I'm just thinking about the day, I have ideas. Or even when I'm dreaming is another better example. When I'm, 3 in the morning, I wake up, I go, oh, that's a cool idea. If it's so cool, you should write it down, because you will never remember it in the morning. It's very unlikely. And even if an idea, you go, oh yeah, you know what, I'll remember that. You won't. If an idea comes into your head and you don't write it down, ask yourself this question. Am I okay with losing this idea forever? Because there's a high likelihood that you will. Ideas come and go, and you're like, wait, what was that thing I was thinking about? And it'll be completely gone. So if I ask myself, am I okay with losing this idea? If the answer is no, I stop everything I'm doing and I write it down and I email it to myself. I can show you my inbox. It's filled with emails from myself, and it's just random ideas. And then at the end of the day, sometimes I have 30 emails from myself. And at the end of the day, I take them from my email and put them on my, in the various folders. And that's how I kind of organize them and build upon them. And some of my entire novels have come from the simplest idea. I go, oh, that'd be cool. Wouldn't it be awesome if this happened? And later it becomes a whole book. I treat my ideas like currency, and I treat them with care. Okay, so the last thing I'll say about ideas is often we need kind of fodder for ideas. And what I mean by that is creativity is like a flame, and we constantly need to feed it different things to kind of burn strong. So a lot of times I get my ideas from the randomest places. Like, I'm watching a movie that I don't even want to watch. Maybe my girlfriend forces me to watch some movie that I'm not interested in, but one look of a character, I go, oh, that's a really cool idea. And I'm on my phone and I'm writing that to myself. The other day I read an article about some advancement in technology, and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea for a story. I write that down. But what if I didn't click on that article? You have to immerse yourselves in different experiences, read articles, watch documentaries, go traveling, hang out with different people, have conversations with interesting people. You're basically mining for ideas. If somebody has a cool story about their grandmother, you meet them at a party, pay attention, because there might be something in there that you could extract. Maybe it's just even a character. You say, hey, that's a really interesting character, or that's a cool name. So you're at some baby shower and they have a name for their kid. You say, oh, I'm gonna take that and use it for my story. That's what I do. I know a lot of other writers do that. So it becomes really about becoming very observant, becoming a student of learning and paying attention to the world and exposing yourself to different things. Probably most importantly is capturing those ideas and figuring out a system to organize them so you can use them in your stories. All right, so that's it for today's video. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you wanna see more videos like this about writing, please subscribe to my channel if you're not already.